Hey you guys, welcome to day 4 of the Flexibility for Warriors Yoga and Superfood Challenge. So today's yoga segment is a core segment because, most of the segments I'm giving you this week are all about flexibility and recovery, but core conditioning is an important element for all athletes and desk warriors alike. Posture, breathing, core strength, these basic things. So enjoy that segment. In addition to that, let's talk a little bit about the benefits of the anti-inflammatory superfood diet again and just eat real food. So let me read you just a quick paragraph from my book about the JERF, and that is: real food is not chemicalized, processed, stripped of nutrients, or enhanced with flavors and additives. Real food is not genetically modified, packaged in colorful boxes, and shipped halfway around the world. Real food doesn't run a commercial during the Super Bowl, which is kind of funny, featuring a rock star. And real food is perfect just as it is. It doesn't need to be modified, processed, or packaged. And so we just really want to get back to those basics about just eating real food. One of the things that I highly recommend that you start to do is read food labels. So just quickly flip the package over and look on the back, and if there are words in it that you don't understand, and you don't know what they are, then you shouldn't be putting it in your body. Diet Coke is #1 on this list. It is so highly processed and full of chemicals and inflammatory. It causes so many problems for people. Digestive issues, headaches, inflammatory issues, weight gain. Yes, Diet Coke makes you gain weight. Do you know why? Because your body doesn't know what to do with it. Your body was not made to drink those chemicals. So it's really an important habit that people break. And you know what? Once they break the habit, they feel so much better. So, and that's the case with a lot of these inflammatory foods. So when you think about, and I write about this in my book, the foods that make you feel good. So there are foods that make you feel good temporarily, right? Like, you have a cocktail, you feel good for 10 minutes or however long, and then the next day or 2 hours later or whatever, you don't feel so good. I'm just saying, that's one example, and that holds true for me. Maybe that's not the case for you. Some people do better with alcohol and some people don't. Same thing with sugar, chocolate, cake, cookies, pretzels, chips, blah, blah, blah. A Big Mac. My husband always kids with me now that I have ruined him, and he says that in a good, loving, kidding way, but he used to be able to eat a Big Mac, no problem. Now if he eats it, he's sick for an entire day because he's like, oh, it just feels terrible, because he's become so much more aware of putting good, healthy foods in his body and how he feels long term, not in just the short term, the 10 minutes that you're eating it, but in the long haul, how your body feels, how your energy feels. And so that's what I want you to start to be aware of. How do foods make you feel, really, in this moment that you're eating them, and then long term? And you can start to keep a journal, and what we call a food mood journal in the health coaching world. When you eat a food, how does it make you feel? Dairy is a great example. There are a lot of people that are sensitive to dairy and to gluten, and they're in denial about it. I was one of them. I still kind of am in denial about it. But when you eat it, like gluten for me, I can eat it and I'll feel fine. I'll be like, I'm fine, it's no problem for me. But then I get ulcers in my mouth. And for years, I didn't know why I was getting ulcers until I gave up gluten for 6 weeks. And then I had gluten again. I had, pizza. And then I had ulcers again in my mouth. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have those ulcers for 6 weeks. It was the gluten. So sometimes it takes us giving up something that we love. And I know it's hard, but listen, I always say, this is not hard. If you think this is hard, giving up Diet Coke, giving up gluten, we need a reality check. We need a perspective check. Same thing with training a marathon. I know it's hard. I'm not minimizing it. When I did Iron Girl, like I said earlier, it took over my life, and it was definitely a challenge for me. But in the scheme of life, when you lose someone you love, you're battling cancer, those are hard things. Training for a marathon is hard in a good way. It is so invigorating. It makes you feel so alive and so much like a warrior. Like, you can do this, right? But the self-care and the awareness of how your body is communicating with you. And one of my favorite quotes, and I shared this in one of our yoga segments, is your body whispers to you. If you don't hear the whispers, you will have to hear the screams. So the body is absolutely amazing. It is communicating to you every single day little messages, little aches, pains, maybe a headache, maybe you feel good, whatever it is. Listen to what your body's telling you with the foods you eat and the self-care you practice. So just eat real food is the message. More and more, that doesn't mean that you can't have some processed packaged food on occasion. It's the 70-30 rule. 70% of the time, 75% of the time, eat real food and then indulge yourself. Absolutely. Whatever, it's all good. That's the flexible warrior approach, okay? Awesome job, you guys. Day 4, keep it going. Remember, this is just the beginning. You're just using this opportunity this week to jumpstart yourself into practicing more self-care. Send me any questions, post on our Facebook group, and I honor and respect the warrior within you. Namaste.